Welcome to the Secret History Channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. A group of buffalo gathered by the water around 1904, a scene once common on the Great Plains of North America. Cowboys loading cattle onto railroad cars at McCoy's stockyard in Abilene, Kansas in 1867. Sioux Indians between the 1880s and 1890s. Dressed in traditional attire and holding spears and other cultural symbols, they stand before their tents and horses. Sioux Indians performing the Omaha dance at Fort Niobrara, Nebraska in 1891. The first log cabin built in Yosemite Valley, California, belonged to James Lehman and was photographed around 1895. Navajo Indians near an old fort in New Mexico in 1873. During this period, many Navajo communities faced significant changes after years of conflict and forced relocations. A prospector with his burro loaded with essential supplies for mining in 1903. A Native American family posing in front of an adobe structure in California around 1880. Cowboys driving a large herd of cattle across the plains of Belle Fourche in 1887. The region, located in present-day South Dakota, was one of the main ranching hubs in the West. A Native American man stands in front of a Tipi in Minnesota during the 19th century. Indigenous communities in the region, such as the Dakota and Ojibwe, used these portable dwellings made of wood and animal hides, ideal for life on the plains and in the forests. A Navajo man with his sheep at a water well in the desert near Keams Canyon, Arizona, around 1890. The Old Mission Church in Zuni Pueblo, New Mexico, photographed in 1873. Built by the Spanish in the 17th century, the mission was part of efforts to convert native peoples to Christianity. San Miguel Church in Santa Fe, New Mexico, photographed in 1873. Built in the early 17th century by Spanish settlers, it is considered the oldest church still in use in the United States. Colonel Cooper's ranch in New Mexico around 1885 exemplifies life in the West, where cattle ranching was the main economic activity. Cowboys working on the vast plains of Converse County, Wyoming, between 1870 and 1890. A group of cowboys from the Aztec Land and Cattle Company posing in front of a ranch in Holbrook in the Arizona Territory during the 1870s and 1880s. A cowboy posing in front of a backdrop at J. Buckle Ranch. This type of setting was common on large ranches where work involved tending cattle, maintaining the property, and dealing with the challenges of weather and terrain. Pioneers continuing their journey toward California, passing through Arizona. During the 19th century, thousands of immigrants crossed the Arizona desert in search of new opportunities, following routes like the Gila Trail. Pioneers crossing the Little Colorado River in Arizona in 1885. This crossing was part of the challenging journey immigrants faced as they moved westward in search of new opportunities and land. A ranch in Mendocino County, California, photographed in 1871, reflecting the rural lifestyle of the time. A group of students in Pine Grove, a mining camp in Nevada, photographed around 1895 to 1896. John C. H. Grabble, around 1887, captured a group of Native Americans watching the skinning of an animal. A wagon train slowly making its way over steep terrain near a river around 1879. A long line of ox-drawn wagons transporting supplies through the Arizona Territory in 1883. A long line of wagons loaded with ore travels a dusty road in Pinal County, Arizona Territory around 1897. passengers and railroad workers posing beside a Burlington and Missouri River Railroad train near Hot Springs, South Dakota in 1891. Hunkpapa Sioux leader Gall was photographed at Fort Buford, North Dakota in 1881. Juana Parker, one of the most influential Comanche leaders, photographed in Oklahoma on July 25, 1901. Hunters and explorers preparing to set out in search of caribou in Beaver City, Alaska in 1899. Photographer William Henry Jackson and his mule, loaded with heavy equipment, crossing rocky terrain in Colorado around 1873. Soldiers preparing and loading a mule with flour during the so-called Starvation March of General George Crook's expedition to the Black Hills in 1876. The Chinese firefighting team, Champions of America, posing after winning the Great Hub and Hub race in Deadwood, Dakota on July 4, 1888. The Club Saloon in Longview, Texas, was a bustling gathering place for travelers, cowboys, and traders in 1875. The interior of a saloon in Kansas, photographed in 1901 before being destroyed by Carrie Nation, one of the leaders of the temperance movement in the United States. Main Street in Bisbee, Arizona, photographed in 1888, shows the bustling main street of a town thriving due to mining. The image captures the town of Pawnee, Nebraska in 1869, focusing on commercial establishments, including a meat market. The dining station, located halfway to the Grand Canyon in Flagstaff, Arizona, was photographed between 1898 and 1910. The image shows West Main Street in Kingston, Lander County, Nevada, around 1865. Broad Street in Clone, Arizona, in the 1890s, showcases the typical main street of a small western town. The city of Cheyenne in Laramie County, Wyoming, in 1869, features a busy commercial street with shops, hotels, and growing businesses. A Kiowa family posing for a portrait in Indian Territory, around 1890. The Kiowa, known for their rich culture and skills in hunting and warfare, were being forced to adapt to the new conditions of the reservations. Silver mining in Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado, attracted prospectors and investors during the peak of mineral extraction in the 19th century. Union Pacific Railroad executives posing beside a train 250 miles west of Omaha in the Nebraska Territory in October 1866. G.L. Rule and his family posing in front of their home in the Arizona Territory in February 1898. Crowd of settlers departing by train and wagon from Orlando to Perry in the Oklahoma Territory on September 16, 1893. The Wells, Fargo, and Cumber Agency in Virginia City, Nevada, around 1866. In front of the building, a horse-drawn stagecoach prepares to transport passengers and valuable cargo, such as gold and mail. Crowd of settlers departing by train and wagon from Orlando to Perry in the Oklahoma Territory on September 16, 1893. The vast landscapes of South Park and the towering Mount Lincoln in Colorado were photographed around 1878. A photographer adjusting his equipment in the Sierra Nevada mountains around 1866, capturing images of the rugged landscape and the trails used by explorers and settlers. A Pueblo Native American hunter posing in traditional attire around 1890. A Shoshone camp recorded between 1880 and 1910. The tents, known as tipis, were made of wood and animal hides, designed to be durable and easy to transport. The image features Bill Reese's Dance Hall in Miles City, Montana in 1879. Miles City, known as a stopping point for cowboys and traders in the Old West, was famous for its saloons and entertainment venues. Sherman Station, in Albany County, Wyoming, was a key stop along the newly built Transcontinental Railroad. The camp from the King Expedition, set up between 1869 and 1878, served as a base for the team of surveyors and scientists exploring the American West. The surveyors' camp set up in the hills at the base of the Winta Mountains in Daggett County, Wyoming in 1870. An expedition boat sailing down the Truckee River in western Nevada around 1867. The Wayside Inn, located in Uncompahgre Canyon, Colorado, served as a rest stop for travelers and traders in 1890. The Daily Reporter staff posing for a photo in Corinne, Utah, between 1869 and 1878. The newspaper was a key source of information for local residents, covering regional events, news on railroad expansion, and the growth of settlements in the West. Herds of cattle grazing near the Eufaula Cotton Oil Mill in Indian Territory, in a photograph taken before 1908. Fred W. Loring posing next to his mule named Evil Merodach in Prescott, Arizona in 1871. The Wade and Jones Railroad Camp in Whitewood Canyon, South Dakota in 1890 shows workers constructing one of the many rail lines that helped connect the West to national markets. A woman posing with her family in the Arizona Territory between 1887 and 1889. A small wooden jail in the Wyoming Territory, photographed in 1893, represents an effort to maintain order in a region shaped by growing settlements and the movement of cowboys, prospectors, and traders. The first blacksmith shop in Guthrie, Oklahoma, emerged amid the city's rapid growth following the land rush of 1889. A group of Mormon immigrants crossing Echo Canyon around 1870. A horse-drawn fire engine moving through the streets of Austin, Texas, around 1892. A prospector panning for gold in a creek near Virginia City in the Montana Territory in 1871. Workers bending iron rails in 10 Mile Canyon, Nevada between 1864 and 1885. Men preparing pack mules loaded with supplies in the late 1880s or early 1890s. Gold prospectors working in El Dorado, California in 1853 during the gold rush. The Kiowa tent and Tipi camp in Oklahoma Territory in 1901, depicting a scene of subsistence and adaptation. Chinese workers building the Transcontinental Railroad through the Sierra Nevada mountains around 1868. A view of Coburg in the Nebraska Territory between 1884 and 1885. Small settlements like this emerged along westward expansion routes driven by the arrival of settlers, farmers, and traders. A scene atop the Sierra Nevada, captured around 1866, showcases the grandeur of the snow-covered mountains and the challenges faced by travelers and settlers crossing the region. The Granger, Texas train station, photographed in the 1890s, reflecting the importance of railroad transportation in the development of western towns. The landing of Villard and Rufus Hatch's group in Bismarck, Dakota Territory, was photographed on September 5, 1883. Cowboys from the Aztec Land and Cattle Company posing in front of a ranch in Holbrook, Arizona Territory during the 1870s and 1880s. Officers and assistants gathering at Rendezvous Camp near Belmont, Nevada in 1871.